Good morning, Pastor Brian here. Thank you, as always, for joining me today as we read a psalm a day. Today we're reading Psalm 95 together. I'll be reading from the Common English Bible Translation and encourage you to follow along with me so that you can see what you get out of today's psalm as we read it together. Come, let's sing out loud to the Lord. Let's raise a joyful shout to the rock of our salvation. Let's come before him with thanks. Let's shout songs of joy to him. The Lord is a great God, the great King over all other gods. The earth's depths are in his hands. The mountain heights belong to him. The sea which he made is his along with the dry ground, which his own hands formed. Come, let us worship and bow down. Let's kneel before the Lord our Maker. He is our God, and we are the people of his pasture, the sheep in his hands. If only you would listen to his voice right now. Don't harden your hearts like you did at Meribah, like you did when you were at Massa in the wilderness, when your ancestors tested me and scrutinized me, even though they had already seen my acts. 40 years I despised that generation. I said, "These people have twisted hearts. They don't know my ways." So in anger I swore, "They will never enter my place of rest." Well, that's the end of Psalm 95. Overall, a very joyful and happy psalm. We see at the end a reminder of what it was like when God's people didn't listen to God's voice, and God decided to have another generation be the generation that entered the promised land. But there's the rest of the psalm is just absolutely gorgeous. Come, let us sing, raise a joyful shout. Again, that idea of God as the rock of our salvation. Shouts with songs of joy to him. Just all of these ways in which we are to give thanks and praise to God for all that God has done and for who God is, and a reminder that God created all the things in the earth, all the things that we see. God's hands, God's voice spoke them into being. And so we are so grateful for the earth that we have. I'm so grateful for the earth that we have. And so to give God thanks and praise it's the right thing to do. That we should worship and we should bow down, that he is our God and that we are the people of his pasture. And if we wanted to focus on a verse, that is a beautiful verse. He is our God, and we are the people of his pasture, the sheep in his hands. And so God is the shepherd, we are the sheep. God cares for us, protects us. God holds us in his hands. God is the one who cares for our every need. God is the one who doesn't sleep because there are things that are prowling around that try to take us away. God is that protector. God is the one who cares for us and loves us and watches over us. And then again, as I mentioned, we have then the voice shift in this psalm, just like we did in one of the other psalms recently. And we've seen in the past before that we shift from a corporate praise to kind of the voice of God, reminding them of past sins. And so, again, all important. It's important to remember our past and the mistakes that we've made, and to not necessarily look at it as just this awful thing that we just shouldn't pay attention to, but a reminder. And that not only of that, but again, a reminder of all that God is and does for us. And just that God is the voice that we should listen to amidst all the other voices out there. Because he is our God, and we are the people of his pasture. And for that, we give thanks to God. And now I ask you, what did you hear? What of this psalm stuck out to you? Is there something you really liked? Is there something that you didn't like? Write it down. I think that's a great way of really remembering and working your way through this psalm. Share it with a friend, share it with us. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe, as always. God bless.